Okay, good evening, students. In today's lecture, we will see frequency reuse concept. Okay, what is frequency reuse? Uh, what are its significance? All these things we are going to see in today's lecture. So, see, first of all, whenever you will see any cellular mobile communication book, you will find the shape of a cell site is in the form of hexagonal. Okay, the question is why hexagonal have been taken. Why not square? Why not triangle? So see, the reality is the cell site cannot be a circular shape. Okay? Why I am saying that it cannot be a circular shape is that whenever we draw a circle and try to connect three circles together, there will be a gap in between. Okay? See here. Now imagine if I keep it as a circle, another circle here, and another circle here. Can you notice that there is a gap in between? So that gap would mean that that is a place where there is no network. Okay. So we reject the circle shape because it creates confusion. Okay. And hexagonal has got certain features due to which we have selected hexagonal. Okay. Because when we are representing sectors, that antenna is being given a 120-degree sector, all those can be easily shown when we are making a cell site in the form of hexagonal. Okay, square shape also, if you notice, if you put antenna in between, this will be the short path, this will be a long path. Okay, so again it will create confusion, but this almost looks like a circle. If you notice, it is a very close resemblance to the circle. Okay, and actually the reality is cell site may look like this. At one place there may be more signal, other place there will not be any bulge. Okay, so finally engineers said to represent all those sectors in the on the paper and ensuring that there is no gap in between when we represent 4 5 cell sites together, it has been decided that cell site shape will be hexagonal. Okay, so these are the approximate circular shape, no gaps, no overlap, equal area. Okay, so we have felt that this hexagonal is the best way to represent a cell site. Now if you see here, if I have used an antenna of particular sector, we can easily draw this sector. See, this sector, this sector. So this entire sector 1 antenna will be transmitting in this angle. How easily you have drawn. Okay, so we have ended up using hexagonal shape as a cell site of a cell site. Okay, now you see here, whenever we say omnidirectional means the antenna will be transmitting all 360-degree, and whenever I say directional antenna, it will transmit the signal in a particular direction. Okay, so if you notice, this can be considered as 120-degree. Okay, because this is somewhat 90. Okay, if you uh, further expand it, this complete angle will be 120-degree. So when we are representing 120-degree sector, this can easily represent 120 degrees. See, okay, so this is how cell sites locations are. Okay, sometimes it is being base station antennas are kept sometimes here or sometimes here. If it is here, then this may be representing a particular sector. Okay, so we will show in the coming classes how we are showing sectors when we will be studying the antennas which are transmitting in a particular direction. Okay, then you will get more clarity how to um, put antennas and how to show it on the paper. So our topic is frequency reuse. Okay, so every cellular base station is allocated group of radio channels to be used within a small geographical area called cell. Okay, base station in adjacent cell are assigned channel groups which contain completely different channels than neighboring cells. All right, now you see here. These are the cells. This is one cell, this is another cell, this is another cell. And this entire cells together is known as, I should say, it is a one cluster. Okay, so here if you go, this is called three cluster. 1, 2, 3. If you see the outer boundary represented by broad lines, bold lines. Okay, so now imagine you have 600 channels. Okay, you cannot move away from a particular frequency range, because in wireless communication every system has been allotted a frequency range. Okay, if you see FM radio, it has got a particular frequency range. All right, that frequency range we will not use in cellular mobile communication. Okay, also if we are using television transmission, broadcast transmission, for televisions, that frequency is being allotted differently. Okay, so when I say in cellular mobile communication there are 600 channels, so this 600 channels is allotted a particular frequency. From here to here only you can allot. Okay, now I have this many areas to cover. So what I will do, I will give 30 channels to this, 100 channels to this. Okay, 40 channels to this, in such a manner that the sum of all the channel will come out to be 600. Point is clear? And then we say that this is a one cluster. Now, how many cells are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So n is 7. Okay. In some places you will find n equal to 12 also. All right. Now what we do in frequency reuse. Now let us first see the base station antennas are designed to achieve the desired coverage within the particular cell. The process, the design process of selecting and allocating channel groups for all of the cellular base station within a cell is called frequency planning. Now you see here what is frequency planning. Now if I have allotted one channel here, say of 900 megahertz, okay, then another channel is of 905 megahertz. I will not allot 905 megahertz to this cell. Why? Because they both are very close to each other. Okay, so the filter passband characteristics is such that it will not only allow 900 megahertz, it will allow some portion of 905 megahertz also. So if both the channel are allocated to a same cell, there will be interference, because the adjacent frequency will try to enter, because the filter characteristics will allow the adjacent frequency also to come. So we do frequency allotment in a very smart way. So what I am going to do is 900 megahertz I will allot here, 905 I will allot here. Understood? So that there is very less possibility of 905 megahertz to come and travel such a long distance and create interference here. Alright. So now let us see cluster size and system capacity. So K is the number of channels in a cell. So here we are assuming that all cells are having equal channels. So in reality, the number of channels will differ based on population. Urban place having big buildings will have more channels as compared to rural area. or remote places. Okay, you know why it is like that? Because where there is more population, there will be more phone calls, so we have to allot more channels. But in this calculation, we are assuming that all cells are having equal number of channels. So how many are the number of channels are allotted to each cell? K. Number of cells per cluster is n. So in this cluster, n is equal to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if 600 channels are divided into 3 cells, n will become 3. Okay. So each cell will get 200 channels. Understood? M is the number of times the cluster is repeated. Now after allotting this, our 600 channels all are exhausted. Okay. Now I will make another cluster here, and another I will make allot the same frequency pattern as allotted here to then this cluster. See here. Can you see? If B is on the top, means set of channels are there, we have named it as B. Then in this cluster also we have kept B on the top. If somebody makes B here, what will happen? They both will become very close to each other. Na? Then again interference will happen, as I told you before. So if this is B, we will keep B here only, and here also B will be here only. Now can you see they both are using same frequency, and this is the concept called frequency reuse. We are reusing same frequency in another cluster. Okay, and we are ensuring that they are sufficient distance apart. Okay, so m is the number of times the cluster is repeated. So here m is equal to 3. Okay, c is the total number of channels. Okay, so obviously if c is equal to total number of channels, no, total number of channels. Okay, so what we can clearly say here is S is the number of channels in a cluster. Actually, total number of channels is represented by C, and S is basically the number of channels in a cluster. So S is equal to what? K into N. What is K? Number of channel in a cell multiplied by total number of cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would give us number of channels in a cluster. Understood? So C is basically capacity. Okay, C is the capacity. So ignore this. Alright. Number of channels in a cluster is given by S. C is capacity. So what is capacity? How will you determine? Total number of channel multiplied by how many times you have repeated this cluster. Point is clear? So if total number of channel, if S is equal to what? 600, and this pattern is being used. So M is equal to 3. So C will become 1800. Okay. But remember, if you try to increase the clusters again more, there will be more interference. Understood? This we will study in the upcoming topics. So again, this is called many cluster. The same cluster is being repeated. So this repetition is termed as frequency reuse, because we are using same set of channels here. Channels means frequency allotment. So same frequency allotted to this cell will be used here. So we are reusing the frequency, hence it is termed as frequency reuse. This concept of allotting the same frequency in another cluster is termed as frequency reuse concept. Now you see here, this is F2 and I have kept this as F2. So they are considering this. Now there is a stipulation that if you are reusing the frequency, the minimum distance between the two cells using same frequency is governed by the formula D is equal to whole root 3n into R. R is the radius of the cell from here to here, or here to here you should say. Okay. N is the reuse pattern, the cluster size or the number of cells per cluster. Okay. So you have to calculate this. So if radius is say 5 kilometer, okay, and n is 7 and this is 3, so you have to calculate a distance will come. Whatever distance comes, that should be the minimum distance apart. You cannot further reduce that distance. If you further reduce, then D, what will happen? There will be very high co-channel interference. Understood? So whenever we are using frequency reuse concept, we ensure that they are having a minimum distance of root 3 whole root 3n into R. Okay. So this is a small numerical. If n is equal to 7 and radius is 5 kilometer. So if you put the values, distance is coming out to be 22.91. Alright, kilometers. So the minimum distance at which the same frequency can be reused is approximately 4.6 times the R. Okay, which is in this case 22.91 kilometer. Okay, so this term has come by this divided by say 4.6 they are assuming. Okay, so this is how we calculate the distance. So distance has come 22.91 at any cost. This distance should not go below 22.91. If it goes below 22.91, we say that the engineer has not designed the system properly. Okay, so a frequency reuse concept comes with a stipulation that you should follow frequency reuse distance, and the distance is given by this formula. Okay, and this is called reuse factor. All right. So here basically we are comparing the distance with in terms of radius. Okay. To understand the frequency reuse concept, consider a cellular system which has a total of S duplex channel available for the use. Okay. So S is the total number of channel, means total number of channel in a cluster. If each cell is allocated a group of K channels, and if the S is the total number of channel, then S is equal to Kn, that we have already seen. Okay. So C is equal to mkn if you want to calculate the capacity. This calculation is same as this one. Okay. And this will be the capacity. How many times you have repeated the cluster? So here m is equal to 2 and here m is equal to 3. Okay. So now the number of the geometry of hexagons is such that the number of cells per cluster n can have values which satisfy this equation, where I and j are non-negative numbers. So what does this mean? You put I and j, take any non-negative number. Say for example, I will keep I equal to 1 and j equal to 1. So what will come? 1 plus 1 plus 1. So what will come? N equal to 3. So n number of possible values of n can be 3. Here we are having 7. So n can be 3. Alright. Now if you say n equal to 29, but there is no integer value that you can put in I and j such that this by putting in it n is coming 29. So a cluster cannot have 29 cells. Point is clear. So number of cells in a cluster is driven by this formula. You simply put any integer values to I and j, solve it, whatever comes n, that will be the possible number of cells you can accommodate in a cluster. Okay. So cluster size and more clusters are required to cover the given area. So co-channel cell becomes closer. Alright. So if you see this concept, cluster size n, if you reduce, you will require more cluster to cover the same area. Understood? If you increase the cluster size n, the ratio between the cell size and the distance between the co-channel cells is large. Alright. So basically, what we are doing is we are having a design objective of designing a cluster. First, small cluster size gives much bandwidth. Understood? Because if clusters are small, more cells we can put. So we say that capacity has increased. Okay. But the problem is interference will also increase. Okay. So large cluster size will help us in reducing the interference. So small cluster size is also desired, large cluster size is also desired, but there will be a trade-off between capacity and interference. If you want more capacity, interference will increase. If I want to reduce the interference, capacity will also reduce. Okay, so we want to increase the capacity, so reverse is happening. Understood? So we use the word trade-off. So we end up in optimizing a system so that both whatever is the our requirement is being fulfilled. Okay, so this we have already seen. So this is a very interesting numerical that will clear all your doubts. So total bandwidth, what is in this question? Total bandwidth available for communication is 33 megahertz. All right. So we have been given the bandwidth. Channel bandwidth is 25 kilohertz one side, simplex channel. So remember, what does one side means? One side means is that when you are saying something to the other person, that will be one side. And if your friend to whom you are speaking says something, that will be the other side, that is coming towards you. And what you are saying to your friend person, it is going away from you, the signal. So to make a call, you need two sides. Understood? So here they have given 25 kilohertz, but you will consider as 50 kilohertz because to make a call you need 50 kilohertz frequency, 25 of sending your voice, another 25 from your friend's voice coming to you. Okay, so one channel will take 50 kilohertz. Determine the total number of channels. Okay, so it is very simple. This is your bandwidth. Okay, and this is your bandwidth of a channel. So 25 multiplied by 2, as I told you before. And this 33 is 1000. This is basically converting to kilohertz. This is kilohertz. This is kilohertz. So total number of channels that is coming is 600 channels. Okay. So we have come to know that we have total 600 channels. 600 channels, total channels. Bandwidth, from bandwidth and total bandwidth divided by bandwidth occupied by single channel. Now we have to that question. What is the next part of the question? Determine the total available cell channels per cell for n equal to 4. Now what they are saying is this is 600 total. If n equal to 4 means I assume that this entire cluster there are 4 cells only. So what you will do? 600 divided by 4 will be equal to 1 cell. See here. So one cell will be having 165 channels. Now this n equal to 7 will give you better idea because we have been taking n equal to 7 only. Okay. So n equal to 7 will be 600 divided, sorry, it is coming out to be 660 channels. I have said 600 by mistake. It is coming out to be 660. So 660 divided by 4. Now n equal to 7. So again I will take you there. This is 600. This is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many cells, how many channels will be allocated to per cell? 600 divided by 7. 95. Okay. Now for n equal to 12, 600 divided by 12, 55 channels. Okay. So here we are assuming per cell is having equal number of channels. Understood? But in reality, there will be different number of channels allocated to each cell, that is depending on the population. If there are population in the sense the people who are using the phones. If there are set of people who are not using the phone, there is no point in counting them as people who will use cellular mobile. So you ignore those. But in urban areas, you will find there are offices, isn't it? There are roads, there are cricket stadiums, cinema halls. So more rush will be there in the urban area. So cell sites in the urban area will be allocated more number of channels. Okay. So this is the end of this session. We have studied frequency reuse concept. We have studied frequency reuse distance. We have studied how the frequency is being allocated, and then we have studied frequency reuse pattern, cluster, channel capacity. Okay, these are the references. Thank you. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section.